All right, all right. This is long overdue. I have to get some things off the old bucket list, and this is a flashback to where it all began. Uh, yeah, this is so for the comic book people. No secret, no surprise. Classic must read for comic book people. But for me, I have to give credit where credit is due, and it is so cliche, I know, to talk about this book and how great it is and that it got me into collecting. But it is among the top three or four things that was literally the linchpin. I had collected when I was a kid. It was a lot of typical story of us kids back in the day, nickel and dime stuff from grocery stores. There was a little sort of like a thrift hand-me-down store, that was sponsored through like a firehouse. And I remember my grandmother would take me there, and it's like you could get $1 worth, so I could get 10 little comics for $1. So whatever they were is what I got. But I got, you get out of it. You go to school. I was not really into it. Didn't really have anything left from my childhood. I might have had one or two things. I don't know. I don't remember. I know I have one. To this day, I have one. And it's just some rando reprint book. I don't even know exactly what issue it is. But when the Batman movie came out with Michael Keaton, my friend Blake gets the credit for turning me on to stuff that his brother had. And it was down the Frank Miller stuff. It was Daredevil and Batman, and I was hooked again, and hooked hard, like hooked into collecting. It was obviously a boom, like the cliches, like the 80s into the 90s thing, and I was definitely that, and just love the medium, love the writing, love the art. And so I thought I'd take you on a journey, document it, and highly recommend it. It is super great. I don't care what anybody says. Let me go through some of the stuff that I loved. And just for the record, I got this in like a gift set with like a Batman mask for like $7 at an Ollie's. So my actual copy is bagged and boarded. I've had it for years. I've had it cleaned and ready to go for grading. And then I can't do it. I keep talking myself out of sending it because once I send it, I won't be able to play with it anymore. So, but it's beautiful. So anyway, so let's go to the book. This is a collected version. It's the 30th anniversary copy. There are several different ones. This one's really pretty cool because it has like a little brief interview with Frank Miller, who does the art and the story in this. And what Frank had done is really kind of change the context of how people saw Batman, in that the story takes place when Batman's 55. He's been retired. No one has seen him for years. And the story is, Dark Knight Returns, Batman Returns. So it sets up this story. And one of the things that got was right out of the gate, I remembered my childhood. I remembered comic books, I remembered different things. But when I saw this, notice the use of the squares, the way the storytelling is going across here, going completely across. It's hard to do when you're doing it backwards like this, right? And it's more about, everybody in the future. He's showing you here, he's showing you the newscast. This is a very, very big deal in this. These are newscasts, watching TV. And I was immediately hooked with the style, and it was extremely unique. So even when I got into other things, I would come back to this and still find just a lot of glory in it. So anyway, so yeah, this is it starts out with Bruce Wayne. He's getting thrills. He's old. Muggers try to attack him, that kind of thing, and just takes him right back to the child trauma of the murder of his family. Of course, there's the we go to Arkham Asylum, and you see Joker, and see Joker is here. And then, of course, they're going to release Harvey Dent. Two-Face is allegedly cured. And that's how the story kicks off. And most of the story, for a while, kind of progresses through these, four pictures, brief text, very fast read. Frank has a very unique style about him. And I were able to get a few copies of some pages to share with you a little bit more detail so we can look at them. You know, there's the flashback to him becoming Batman, the trauma with the bat as he's a child, of course, the death of Robin here. So you get a lot of that in here. And of course, the first issue, which really deals with, you know, that part of it all, was really something. I don't know what to say. I was always interested in the fact that Batman seemed real. Like it was set in sort of and grounded, right? This is like set in the streets and with an actual mugging and those kinds of things, the supernatural elements. And so the first part of the story, of course, is a lot of Bruce dealing with the trauma. The city is just a complete catastrophe. He's increasingly talking himself into he should do something. And of course, you have this group. They call themselves these mutants, and they're kind of the muggers, and they're the ones that are really taking advantage of the citizenry of Gotham. And you get a brief shot. This is still in issue #1, where you'll see this is Carrie right here. She becomes the future Robin. But then you can see this is the mugger. That, you know, he basically he just can't stand by. He just can't let this go. He has to come out of retirement. And you see crazy stuff. You see police chases, and you get to the actual first look of Miller's Batman coming into action. Batman's back. Batman's back. So the first episode is like a chase. There's chase scenes. There's different things that are happening. I love the fact that he's meant to be in the future. So there's a lot more of the realism of his aches and pains. I'm not as fast as I used to be. You know, this hurts when he hit me. It even hurts to throw punches and kicks and that kind of thing. And then, of course, the story is, you know, about Two-Face and the coin. You'll see that here. But then you see the other side of it. The who has been catatonic Joker sees that Batman is back, and the grin comes back. And it is this element of just like step-by-step intrigue, step-by-step story development. He does such a great job of intertwining the news, this sort of nihilistic, pessimistic element of the 70s and 80s and then into the 90s was very well captured in this book, in the sense of people that are pro-vigilante and anti-vigilante. You have these different thoughts and comments about mental illness. You know, can Two-Face actually be cured? Can Joker actually be cured? Then, of course, there's the backdrop of he's Batman now, so he's injured all the time because he's older. We're not in the first issue, and look at this. I love this little shot. This is like one of these little nuggets that Miller did so well. He's on the red phone. He's on like the bat phone. So look, when you're reading this in the 1980s or the early 90s, you're taken right back to your love of the Adam West shows and the famous red phone and all of that. And these callbacks are intertwined. Of course, Batman's trying to, you know, he's coming out. And I want to show you this. This is one of the pages I was able to find a great page of, so we can share that and you can get an idea. We can look at the art a little bit closer here. I know I'm a little long-winded with how I'm approaching all this, but I want you to kind of get a feel for why fans like this. So that's the bat signal. The first time we see the bat signal. And notice how Miller uses his space, right? So it's the whole page as one frame, and then the story kind of moves off to the side step by step. It seems like some of the creative liberties that Miller took have been lost in modern comics. I think there was some era of experimentation and some different things, and this is lost. I mean, there's just so much. There's so much shadows. There's so much dark. It is very, there's a lot of storytelling in the things that are not said of, you know, look at the ninja elements of Batman in this sequence where he's talking to Commissioner Gordon. I just love it. And of course there's Joker. Joker's got an inside person that's feeding him information about Batman and different things that are going on. And of course the story transitions very quickly You end up with this, you know, helicopter sequence with Batman going after who basically is Two-Face, because Harvey Dent, of course, is not cured. And Miller is breaking all the rules, man. Batman with a gun. Batman doing what he's doing. He takes a bullet right there. Takes a bullet. I think it's something, man. I don't know that I ever thought too much about bats getting shot much. Like, it seemed like he would take some wounds and take some hits, but Miller wastes no time in having him be injured. And I thought I had that frame. Yeah, it's right here. Yeah, let me get this shot because it's crucial to the cover of the next issue is that frame where Batman takes the shot to the chest. Oh, it's not very big, is it? Jeez. Let me see if I can would go big. Yeah, see how Batman takes the shot right here? It breaks the suit. He's falling. You know, he's doing different things. So this is the shot you'll see later on. I'll show you the way that Miller used that in his storytelling, kind of a callback for folks that love it because it comes up. Anyway, so you get this image right here. Look at the armor under the Batman symbol right there. Loved it. I loved it. It's so real in the sense of, you know, he would have to have armor, obviously. He would have to have this like Kevlar before there's Kevlar, that kind of thing. Of course, Harvey falls, Two-Face falls, and Batman has to save him because he can't let people die, and he realizes that Two-Face is a mess. He is not cured. He is a mess. Batman kind of realizes that he's a bit of a mess. This is the cover of number 2. Issue number 2 starts off, and this is where we actually get Carrie putting on the Robin costume and becoming Robin. She does it on her own. And of course, this is the leader of the mutants and calling out Batman, like, I'll take you down. Gotham belongs to us. The newscast, of course, Gordon's very supportive. They're not supportive of Gordon. Gordon's ready to retire. This is where you get the mutant stuff. Now, Batman attacks, but it's the mutants that start shooting, and they kill their own. So I need you to understand that this is a large element of how Miller's universe is. It's never well communicated how Batman. So let me say, Batman's always blamed. Batman's always blamed. Okay, so here's Carrie doing acrobats, being a Robin. And Batman dangling someone off the building, just like many of the movies have stolen that imagery. And of course, then there's the death of the politician, another famous image. And just this constant flow of politics intertwined in it, and the darkness of society, the decay of society. He goes to fight the mutant, the battle for Gotham. And here, look at that. So much action, so much intensity with little to no dialogue. You have his thought bubbles. And then, of course, they're shooting. Of course, it's going to bounce off the tank. Batman comes out. He says, you come out, calling him out right here. So Batman's like, fine. You want a piece of me? Let's go get it. It's an awesome picture. So he's battling. The mutant breaks his arm. And then while he wins, he's passed out. He basically blacks out. And there's Carrie that saves him, giving her instructions to save him. And then you flash and you're in the Batcave. And he wants another Robin, basically. It's the gist of this. And they're in the cave. He's there recovering. And I really, really love this is an image that gets people all wound up. like she leaps into his arms. He's recovering. It's obviously shadowy. He's got this on. It's implied that he's not dressed or minimally dressed. It's inappropriate for him to be holding her like that or whatever. But that's not the type of relationship that he has with her. It's literally just, thank God you're alive. But it's been twisted in modern times, so you'll hear people criticizing this, and you'll see him using this like skeleton thing here. And this came up in Dark Knight Rises. They do it with his knee, this knee brace thing. They do it here, but here it makes sense. Dark Knight Rises, not so much. So when they head back out to deal with these mutants, the story kind of progresses where they're fighting, takes him down in the mud to win, and then suddenly they all become Batman disciples instead of following the mutants. So you can see the transition right here. So Gotham and the news, of course, spin all that. This is issue number 3's cover. And you get into he and Robin will now start to battle some of the crime, get some of this under control. And you'll see him here. This is revealed to be Batman in disguise, taking down these like Nazis, neo-Nazis. And it's all well and good and progresses very, very quickly until there's this moment where you see all this, and here's the weapon bursting into flames because Superman has arrived and he wants to talk to Bruce. So Batman's been blamed because all these mutants were killed because they were shooting at the tank and the bullets bounced off and killed them. He's gotten blamed for the mutants that die when they shot each other. This is Superman leaving the scene. So, and then probably one of the most iconic images of the whole series is this swinging into action stuff. Just Miller's craft in redesigning things. And I love how look at the way the pouches flip up like that. You think Rob Liefeld just fell in love with just that, by the way? Just saying. Anyway, so the story progresses and it's basically revealed. Look at how Miller did Superman. Superman is like, a man among the clouds, all this imagery and flowers and whatever. He doesn't age. So here's Batman, gray, bitter, jaded. Here's our Ronald Reagan reference, because Superman's basically just a token for the government to kind of keep peace and all that. He thinks Bruce is getting out of hand again. He's coming back. And I hate this right-wing nonsense because this is not a positive portrayal of Reagan, but this is an accurate portrayal of Reagan by how the press and creators would treated him through the 80s. So things progress. Of course, Batman is being chased by the police because he's to blame, and they're trying to bring it all in. But of course, simultaneous to this is also the Joker. The Joker is going to do a TV appearance and prove that he is sane. Haven't we seen this? So much of this content has been remade and repackaged in film and TV. Isn't there like 2 whole episodes of Gotham, which is basically that? And of course, it's all a scam. Joker's still insane. He infects all of them. And you fast forward a little bit to the Joker sequence. And of course, then you get into where Superman's presence. He's trying to keep some things under control in other parts of the world while the Joker thing goes along. Selena Kyle, of course, is tortured, humiliated as well. She's older now. And you get into this Batman sequence that's happening simultaneous to the Batman and Robin sequence in Gotham City as they're escaping and fleeing from the police. Superman's dealing with crazy. The Joker story is progressing. Of course, we end up into a carnival. Another great splash of them leaping into action. And you have the Joker sequence, which ultimately results with the death of Joker and Batman's to blame. So now he's gone off the deep end. As far as Superman goes, he's gone off the deep end. He's gone too far. He murdered Joker, right? And it is excruciating, shocking how well all of that is done. And then, of course, the the final fourth issue is this incredible image of Batman taking on Superman, the famous, basically backdrop to the Batman versus Superman film, which does not do any of this justice. Obviously, the police are still chasing Batman. Superman is stopping this missile, and you get this story that progresses till ultimately we're going to have the big face-off. He's dealing with the mutant situation, and he mobilizes like the Batman army on horseback because of the missile. Anyway, so they go out as they're in the missile, of course, detonates, but Superman survives. Look at how he handles complete unique color with the pinks instead of the reds and stuff. Just so brilliant. He's so good. Of course, he has to fly towards the sun, and this is how he shows him. So many artists would be tempted to see something different than this, and that's all we get, to know that Superman is okay, and they're going to face off. Batman on the horse. Beautiful, beautiful details. So you get into the story of Superman is going to have to face him, and you get into what is obviously one of, if not the most famous of the sequences, and we'll just go right to that so you guys can see just look at that. Superman is descending, Batman's in his armor, ready for the action. Of course, he's going to be punching at him and smacking at him. Of course, he's just got on a regular suit, but of course there's all sorts of schemes and things that he uses to defeat Superman. Like, he's basically winning. Now, if you notice on the bottom left, you'll see the little, like, a heartbeat symbol. It's important because that's kind of how it concludes, and I don't want to get too much further into the details, but as he uses kryptonite with the one-armed. There's so much backstory with the subtleties of this, right? So, like, you have this one little shot right here. The bitter old Oliver Queen who had his arm ripped off, seeking revenge against Superman, and they used a kryptonite arrow to slow him down, and Batman takes him down, man. Heartbeat's going bonkers, though. And just as Superman is about to win, he says, "Bruce, you have to stop." And of course, he has a heart attack, and that's how we think it ends. Alfred's dead. Everything is over. There's no Batman, no Batcave, whatever. And of course, that's how. Then you have this little flip. The heartbeat's heard, and Clark knows it was all just a way of resetting the clock so he can become Batman again. He can fight crime again. In the back of this issue, this is the 10th anniversary edition artwork. And you'll see different covers in the back for the different versions and volumes that you'll find. And then there's some script notes and stuff in this one, some of the art, that kind of thing. Look, here's my thing. Get a used copy and just tear it up. Just read it, enjoy it, and really get it. If you want to collect them and have them part of your collection, then you want to try to find some higher grades, some nice copies to have as part of a collection. They'll always be worth something. People like me will always look on them with fondness, and I hope the next generations do as well. I fear they're not being appreciated. I don't think Miller is being appreciated. But once I got down that rabbit hole and read this, I think my friend, actually, they had a copy of Frank Miller's Year One, which is in the normal Batman sequence of issues 404, 5, 6, and 7. So 404 through 407. But also some of his Daredevil, Elektra Assassin. So those two things were part of it. Of course, at the same time, we're not too far removed from Crisis on Infinite Earths, Marvel's Secret War. This era of comic books is held up with just so much incredible material. I was just sucked in down this rabbit's hole, and it sounds cliche to credit a book that so many people love and it's considered great. And I'm not telling you anything that a million people probably haven't already told you if you were to ask them. But it was, I bet I've read it, in its collected form, because I had another collected form I gave away to someone else to enjoy. I know I've read it probably Phew, couple times a year for several years and on and off again. I probably read it 25, 30 times probably since then. So, I mean, it's not as often as it seems when you consider it's probably been 30 years. But yeah, folks, it is that good. So I have another couple things I want to try to get to. Hope you enjoyed this, and if nothing else, now you kind of understand a little bit of where I'm coming from and how I got into comic books and what I liked. If there's a book that's inspired you, I'd love to hear about it. Maybe something I haven't even read. Who knows? And thanks for your time. Thanks, Tom Pops.